told my wife that I wasn't going to hunt. We're both off today. We spent all last night, this morning, most part of the day. I told her I wasn't going to hunt, but then I got to sight in a rifle. I'm going to meet my uncle to sight his rifle in. Time change hit last night, so, you know, I figured here it is, the second. No better time to try to get a little ruddy buck action than to sit after this rain till dark, since it's gonna get dark at 6 o'clock now. So we're gonna sight these rifles in, and maybe old big boy's chasing over on my place. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Set up. We got 2 hours before dark, so maybe something move. We're sitting here. You can feel the temperature dropping pretty quick. Rain just moved back in. You see it there? Yeah, sprung a leak. Yeah. Got 270 sighted in. Hopefully either one of the big 8s over here. I'm really looking for that big 11 that I call Bo Cephas. He's been MIA off camera for quite a while. Hopefully he's still pushing around. But look. I'll tell you what, man. You think I'm nothing good nowadays. Maybe there'll be a pot at the end of that rainbow. Might be nice, wouldn't it? Excuse me being out of breath, but evidently there was a pot at the end of the rainbow. That's what you do with your old pumpkins. All right, so here's the gig. I was just gonna bring in pumpkins over here. I just cleaned my red truck from being all caked in mud from being on that berry hunt. So I got the bed of the truck all cleaned out. And I didn't want all them pumpkin guts in here, so I loaded them in the white truck. So, you know, I told you the whole thing, sight the guns in, but I was already gonna sit a couple hours. Well, didn't realize that my headlamp's in the door of the red truck. I don't have my spares in my bag, nor a flashlight. My phone is on 10%, which kind of need 2 hands. So, note to self, keep a headlamp in both trucks. Gotta love it. All right, I want to do a little recap on the evening. So, you know, I've done spoke on how my plans were laid out for me. So, you know, I'm sitting there, and here it is 5:50. You know, like I said, daylight savings hit, so everything fell back last night. So here it is 8:02. You know, it'd be 9 o'clock yesterday, just for an example. So I'm sitting there looking at my phone. I said, it's 5:50. Out loud, I said, all right, I'm leaving in 10 minutes, 6 o'clock. If I don't see nothing, I'm gonna get out of there because I don't have a light. And no sooner than I laid my phone in my lap and looked up, this daggone thing come cruising out with his neck stretched in a straight beeline out into some solid briars and sagebrush, like pretty freaking quick. Like there's probably a 7 or 8 yard shooting lane, then it goes to sagebrush, and then a couple small lanes throughout that sagebrush for about 20-30 yards. Well, I had my binos there, went to grab them. I was like, no, let me go ahead and get my scope up, grab the gun, throw it up, and by then all I could see was bones sticking out. And you know, I could see it was a 3-way on one side. I was like, oh, that's that Big 8, that's Bender. And I've been watching him for a couple years. But again, I just made a decision. I was like, all right, I done told myself earlier, 8 or better. I ain't shooting no does, no nothing to drag out of there. Well, I seen it was an 8. I thought it was one of my big shooters, but this turns out it's one I don't think I have on camera. I have to look back through some of my photos. But hey, I busted that bruiser cruising down through there, dropped him in his tracks. So, you know, that's pretty good evening if you ask me. So I'm pulling up at the house now and going to eat my dinner, come dress this thing out and drop it off at the processor, and then back to the grind on Monday morning. I owe it all to the good Lord, because I tell you what, if it wasn't for him allowing me and blessing me with what he does nowadays, and truly blessed me with an awesome evening, and in the nick of time too. I mean, all that, we gotta give praise and glory to God. I'll see you later.